Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me for BJD Tea Time Talk. I'm drinking peppermint tea, straight from HEB.
Guess what time it is?
Tea time with AsenvaBJD. It's tea time with AsenvaBJD. It's tea time.
So pull up your cup of tea and join me for BJD Tea Time Talk. Okay, so the title of this video is, fun times of the BJD hobby. I kind of just wanted to get this off my chest, I guess. And kind of, I don't know if I'm gonna convince anybody or if this is gonna even just be like remotely like effective to anybody, but I feel like I kind of want to take a step back and just reflect. You can reflect with me if you want about what the BJD hobby is and what it's all about. So to me, the reason why this exists, why we have these awesome, wonderful dolls, is that it's a way to express ourselves. And I really feel like it's a creative outlet that people can use to do almost anything, which is the greatest part of it. And anytime, back in the days, when I would do presentations and conventions and stuff, like, that was one of the cool things that I would always share to people about, was that, if you're a writer and you have a character, you can bring that character to life by putting them into, a doll. And it can be anything, like really anything. The sky's the limit. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this hobby. And sometimes I feel like, I don't know, it gets, sometimes some people, get really offended at times, or they disagree with people and their characters or the things that they do, and their designs to their characters. And for some odd reason, that's kind of mind-boggling to me, because it's just like, I'll tell you right now, usually 99.9% of the time, people create these characters, these dolls, because it's something that they find beauty in. It's something that they love. It's something that they appreciate. So I really don't see like too much people like really doing something purposefully. Let me give you an example, because I don't know if you're following along with me. So for example, you know me, if you've been following my channel for a while, I'm obsessed with shoujo manga. So anything and everything, the dolls that I create, the dolls that I have, are basically like as if you were to open up a manga. And it's just like really pretty boys that just look, like different, otome characters that you could select, like, ooh, who you're gonna collect? Are you gonna do the nice guy? Like, I don't know. Like, is it gonna be, and my tan skin dolls are in there, like, ooh, is it gonna be that, hottie with a body over there? Like, who's it gonna be? And so I find beauty in that, and that's what I do, and then I try to, like, incorporate fashion with it, and so I have a whole bunch of different dolls that kind of reflect that, and that's me, and there's other people out there that do fantasy, that do like I mentioned before, they do their stories, and that's great. It's so exciting to see so many different dolls out there, and people that just make these characters, I feel like sometimes we do them because it's kind of like us reflecting a bit of ourselves that we wish we had or wish we could do, and for me, like, for example, you right here, I've always wanted to color my hair. I can't because I teach, but it's a creative outlet, and so when I see other people's characters and I see their dolls and I see the characters that they create, the personas that they have, it's amazing to me. And I feel like sometimes sometimes some people don't see that, which is hard for me to understand, because it's just like, I would never, I guess, impose on somebody else's doll. It's all about just appreciating what people do and what they have. And sometimes, it might be your cup of tea, and sometimes it might not be your cup of tea. My sister, for example, she's got this thing about fantasy things, and she collects all these dragons and all these other things, and I'm kind of like, well, that's not my cup of tea. I'm not really a fantasy person, but there's so many people out there that are, and it varies from person to person. I guess where I start to kind of, I can see where some people could start, drawing a line per se, if it becomes like offensive. But out of my, like, I don't know, like, how long have I been? 10, 12, whatever plus years I've been in this hobby, I don't think I've seen anybody deliberately do something to offend other people with their dolls. Like, they'll have some dolls that are like, okay, like, I'm not gonna lie, there was one person I saw that had, like, straight up, like, they made a character that was a stripper, like a pole dancer, and I was kind of like, okay, like, I don't know, alright, but they didn't do anything, like, really bad, that's their character. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I really wish, and I really hope, that people kind of just see the positive in it more than the negative. Because I feel like it's so disheartening for some people when you have other people that down the character that you make. And it's so sad. I mean, you can disagree with something, but, when you take it to that extra step where you're kind of like raking people through the coals, or like saying something, that that hurts them, I feel like that's where I say it kind of crosses the line. And I personally, I really don't, like I said, I don't really see people doing that purposefully. Like, it's just like, some people do things like and they have deep meanings in them. Like, I remember a while back, I saw somebody that had made a character, and their character that they had was terminally ill. And so, like, it was really strange to see at first, because they got a wheelchair for their BJD. They even went as far as trying to find clear tubing to make, like, the tubing for a breathing apparatus, like for their nose, for oxygen. And I remember just looking at it, but you know what? To that person, that meant something to them. And again, it was nothing offensive. Like, it didn't come off to me as offensive. My aunt was on oxygen, for the longest time. And when I looked at that, I didn't think, oh man, that's offensive because, my aunt was on oxygen. How dare they put their doll on oxygen, like, to pretend. But they actually had a story for it. Like, there was something, that was connecting to that person, that they made that doll for a purpose, and it wasn't anything satirical or like, gimmicky or anything. Like, it was for a purpose. So, I mean, you may not agree with it, but it's just kind of like, to somebody, it means something. So, I really just want us to get back. And I did like a bullying video. I mean, this is not really bullying, but I guess it's just more me just, reflecting and just expressing my personal thoughts about it. But I want us to get back and to think more of that positive side. Like, that people find beauty in different things. And, we create these characters, we have these wonderful dolls, and we do these different things because we're expressing ourselves. Like, we have creativity in what we do, and that's what this hobby's all about. And I would never go as far as accusing anybody of anything, unless I knew like 100% the full story behind it. Because if this was not a hobby that was intended to be just a colorful just array of different characters and personas and people putting things together, I guarantee you the BJD makers that we know today would have all the same sculpt. But they don't. You know, that's the point. They all have different, you know, skin types. They have different face shapes, body types. You know, they have different genres like themes and things like that for their dolls, because they want to see people create different characters and just really just appreciate everything that there is in this hobby. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, step off of my little soapbox here, but I just kind of wanted to, you know, talk about that today. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on about it. You know, what are your thoughts about people and the characters that they create? If you want, you can do a video response to this, or if you want to leave me a comment down below, you can. But I'm just curious as to what you guys think. You know, have you ever taken offense to something, you know, and if so, like, why? Because again, to me, I feel like, you know, I've never really seen anything that was intentionally offensive. You know, not even like weird enough to say, like, you know, that, okay, you know, let's throw race into it. You know, I'm Hispanic. I've never seen someone deliberately being like, oh, here's my, you know, Mexican doll, her name is Rosita, and, you know, she's pregnant with 5 kids and she's, you know, in the kitchen cooking barefoot, like, you know, this is her, I've never seen that. It's usually just like people saying, like, this is my character, I love them, you know, this is what they look like, they like X, Y, or Z, you know, whatever. Which, by the way, if anybody did make Hispanic characters, I would love to see that. That's pretty cool. So, but that's the kind of stuff, I guess, that I'm kind of confused about, you know, and feel free, like I said, to do a video response or do, you know, comment down below and tell me what you think. Because I really feel like we need to get back to appreciating what this hobby is and what it stands for and what it means to people. I feel like sometimes we get so caught up and it starts fights and debates and people get really, you know, fired up about things with this hobby, but at the end of the day, like, what are we here for? You know, we're here for dolls. Like, you know, we enjoy this hobby, you know, and I feel like if other people, you know, are having fun with it and they're doing things that are just like appreciative of different aspects of life, then good for them. You know, if it's something that crosses the line that's offensive, you know, deliberately offensive, then, you know, yeah, I can understand and agree with that as well. But I rarely see that. A lot of it is just people creating just characters and personas for their dolls. I know I did more of talking than tea, but yeah, just wanted to get this out there, and I kind of wanted to try to get back into the swing of making videos again, just because I feel like I really need to get into that some more. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome day. As always, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, kind of, Tumblr, kind of, and you can message me anywhere. Usually, though, however, I've been getting back to my Facebook messages more than I have here on YouTube, because I'm way behind. Yep, really, really behind on that. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember to spread that love and positivity, and just enjoy being in the hobby.